Hey everybody, Economic Ninja here. I hope you're doing well. I've got a story for you today. I'm going to link it below. And I think this is a big deal. But then again, I think everything's a big deal. Come on. Also, I think my hair's a big deal. All right, no, seriously, I can't take myself serious, but we should take this serious. As we watch this economy collapse, narratives being thrown out, blame being made, the facts are all of those things do have consequences. Here we go. New York jet fuel soars to record high as inventories plunge. You know, I have to admit, the first time I hear that title, I just think about how New York is falling. The once great New York is absolutely collapsing. Everything from monetary policy, social policy, now it's economic policies, right? Just the city alone. Think about what it's going through. It is being absolutely gutted. For everything from commercial-backed real estate, you know, CMBSs are starting to collapse. We just saw, I did that story on BlackRock giving back one of their prized commercial real estate buildings because they had two major tenants move out and they lost. They took a 50% haircut on that. I think about the way they've done, the horrible things they've done to their population and ruled over them in this just crazy draconian measure. And so that's collapsing right now. Well, this is something that, if you think about it, is going to just add fuel to the fire for any businesses that are in there trying to, you know, get their executives or their employees out to do business. However, a lot of them aren't even in the city anymore because they aren't working in the buildings. They're completely abandoning them. It's going to get nutty. So here we go. Wholesale, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, there's a whole series of videos I'm going to do eventually, similar to Detroit, where if you ever wanted to have an amazing opportunity to buy commercial real estate in New York and you know, start a business up there, there's going to be a day in the next couple of years where that's going to be the opportunity, just like what happened to the pullout of Detroit when the big auto manufacturers took off. Now, just so you know, I got a buddy that's very sarcastic and likes messing with me. Let's see if he does anything, because he's pulling up right now and he can hear me talking. So wholesale jet fuel prices in New York, and we just got to give him a little bit of credit because the guy's lonely and he needs some help. So I'll make him feel good. We'll make him famous, all right? Wholesale jet fuel prices in New York have risen more than 162% since mid-March as buyers at some of the world's busiest airports located on the U.S. East Coast anticipate dwindling supplies as Western sanctions shun Russian energy exports. You know, it's interesting that, you know, and it's true, they're shunning exports, right? But there's only so long until they can't, because they're going to go broke, all right? So think about that. They have risen more than 162% since mid-March. That is astronomical. I mean, if you would have ever asked anybody, do you think that jet fuel can go up over 100% in a couple of weeks, a few weeks, they would have said, yeah, you're crazy, you know, because that's not the historic norm. But trust me, history is being made right now, and history is being changed right now. It says on Monday, jet fuel prices jumped 93 cents to $7.61 a gallon, a new record high according to Bloomberg data going back to 1988. And it's impressive. This is really happening. According to Reuters, there are two major issues. The first is the East Coast depends on fuel shipments via the Texas to New Jersey Colonial Pipeline for refined products and imports from Europe. Now, I know it sounds funny, but it's almost like you hear a phrase like that, and in a couple months you should just wait for there to be an issue with the pipeline. Just throwing it out there. But there has been a snag as distillate shortages in Europe and shunning of Russian energy exports have helped accelerate the decline in distillate stockpiles in Pad 1. Don't ask me what Pad 1 is. Actually, ask me in the comment section. We'll see if I can answer that. For the first time of year, ahead of the summer flying season, distillate levels are at some of the lowest levels in 2 decades, besides 2003 and 2015. I'm going to stop there. Point being is this. Things are getting expensive, and you have to remember, it's not just expensive for you and your household, but look at what's happening in business, all right? I did a video, I don't know if it already came out, about Peru raising the minimum wage to deal with serious food and fuel inflation, but that's them just pushing it off on the businesses to pay for it, right? Every time these fuel costs go up, the cost of doing business goes up. Well, when that pinches the companies, then what does that do? That makes less profit. Oh my gosh, I think the world is changing right now. My buddy is not messing with me. and it's like his last week at work. Everybody say hi to Dano in the comment section. He's a good guy. Finally gets to retire. It's good. Hey, you know what? And think about this. As we're having, the great resignation, the great, essentially walkouts, right? But also we're having the great retirement going on right now. So many people like Dano are leaving. They're retiring, right? Well, some people say, well, that's good because people are going to be able to backfill them. But I remember talking to a gentleman that retired from where I worked a year ago. And I said, you're going to have a very hard time in retirement. And he goes, why is that? And I thought this would have already happened by then. I said, because the inflation is going to explode all over the country. And for a period of years, you're going to be on a fixed income and you're going to have to go get a second side job. Now, since then, ironically, because of this cost increase, he has went and got a job. He's retired. He's got his fixed income, but he had to go back to work and get another job just to, keep crushing it in life because everything's getting more expensive. And ironically, he did sell his house about, it was about a year ago to get ready for retirement to go move somewhere else. But he was sitting back and renting and waiting. And that's definitely probably a very hard thing for him to see as everything's going up in price and you tend to get fearful. But think of this. This is how you know there's an end to this. And this is the good story. Companies are going to collapse. Quite frankly, they're going to collapse. And because things like jet fuel exploding in value, because of their imports exploding in value and their margins getting smaller and smaller. And eventually, I think our government will do the same thing. Hey, everyone's forced to pay their employees more. And what will happen is more and more businesses will go out of business. Now, the facts are, that sounds really scary, but it's what happens. We saw this from 2006 to 2009 during the Great Recession. So many companies closed their doors. So many employees were laid off. Now, how does this help you? Well, first off, these are facts. They happen every economic cycle. Business cycles happen all of the time. And once you recognize it, you need to do some reflection. Am I in the right industry? Am I in the right employer in that industry? Do I see the writing on the wall? Should I be looking to protect myself? Possibly picking up a secondary job just in case I get laid off from my first. And I know a lot of people would say, I'm not working more than 5 days. Well, then you're going to fail. That is the truth. In the game of life, those that work hard and can see the writing on the wall and do something about what they believe is going to happen, they position themselves for success, are the ones that win, right? The facts are, what's the old saying? Luck favors the prepared. Absolutely. You can't take advantage. And I know a friend of mine, a business colleague, that wanted to take advantage of a situation but was not prepared for it. And it wasn't his fault. He just didn't know it was coming that fast. He didn't know that this opportunity was going to come and he wasn't ready for it. You want to be ready. You want to be diversified. That's why you want to have dry powder in the form of fiat currency, because there's opportunities that are coming everywhere. I hope you guys got something out of that, because I think it's very, very important to realize that, especially in this day and age. If you have a good job, but you've got a couple days off a week, you may want to consider picking up a job that's 1 day a week. Still take a day off. You want a day to rest. That is very important. But why we're not working 6 days a week right now, to be honest with you, in this day and age, I would be. All right, guys, hope you got something out of this. Go easy on the comment section, because it's okay, because only lazy people would get upset about that. You guys aren't lazy because you're part of NinjaNation. Thank you so much for watching. The Economic Ninja is out.